back to another Teacher Time with Kelsie. It is Wednesday, so it is our Artist Spotlight Day today. And I will be introducing you to a new artist, and then I will have a painting activity for you at the end. It's a really fun one too that is a lot about just kind of the process of playing with paint. So I'm excited to share that with you and to introduce you to our artist. So grab your favorite drink, find your cozy spot, and we will take a look at the Artist of the Week, Max Ernst. So now that you've seen some of Max Ernst's work, I want to tell you a little bit more about him. He grew up in a town in Germany, and he learned a lot about art from his father, who really loved to paint. And his father wasn't a professional artist, but he did a lot of painting at home, and just seeing how excited he was about it really inspired Max Ernst to want to become a painter himself. So when he got a little bit older and went off to school, he made friends with a lot of different artists who showed him new techniques and some things that he could try, and also just helped him learn a lot more about the art world. But there were also some things happening in the world at that time that Max Ernst wasn't so happy about. There were a lot of people from different countries who were fighting with each other. A lot of people were really angry and really sad, and there wasn't a lot of happiness in the world at that time. And Max Ernst really felt that, and he really didn't agree with all the anger and the fighting that was happening. So him and another group of artists decided that they wanted to find a way to do something about it through art. So him and this group of artists decided to create an art movement called Dadaism. And what Dadaism was supposed to do was to bring something new into the art world, and to bring some silliness and some humor and just some happiness and fun into the type of work that many artists were doing. So what they did is they created a lot of art games. They created different techniques where you could really play with paint in a lot of ways. And sometimes they would even take paintings that existed and turn them into something kind of silly. So there's this really famous painting called the Mona Lisa, and they actually took that painting and put a mustache on it to make it look kind of funny. So that was the kind of stuff they did. They really just wanted to have fun with art. They wanted to explore their imagination, and they just wanted to let paintings be whatever they could and just enjoy the process of creating them. So in that exploration of art in that way, Max Ernst learned a lot about the kind of art that he liked to create, and he discovered a lot of techniques that he was really interested in as well. And one of those techniques that he really liked to use as a way to explore his imagination and get ideas was something called declamania. So declamania was a technique where he would actually put paint onto a canvas, and he didn't always do it by using a paintbrush. Sometimes he would pour the paint or splatter the paint or find other ways just to kind of spread it around on the canvas. And then he would take a paper or another canvas and he would push it on the top. So he would kind of rub it over the part that he painted and lift it up to make something that we usually call a print. So it would have some of that paint on it, but it would come out more in like spots or just kind of random colors all over the page. And what he would do is he would go back and look at that and see what ideas it gave him to continue his paintings. So he might see kind of this like purpley blob in one corner, and maybe it would make him imagine some special creature, or maybe it would make him think of a mountain, or just kind of give him a lot of different ideas that he could use. So he would look at that picture and let his imagination tell him what the story was of it, what kind of stories he could find in it. And then he would go back and he would add more paint or sometimes even draw on it to kind of add details that helped tell that story. So that is actually the type of art that I would like to explore with you a little bit more today in our art project. So for our art project today, we're going to follow pretty much the same pattern that Max Ernst did. We will be putting some paint down on a canvas, but today our canvas is going to be something that will be pretty easy to clean off. So we'll use something more like a baking tray. And what we'll do is really focus our attention on the print that we're going to make. So you'll take a paper and you'll kind of rub it against the paint that's on your baking sheet or tray, whatever you have. And then you're going to pull it up and you're going to ask yourself, what do you see? So you're going to kind of try to find the story in the print that you make, and then you'll get a chance to really explore and express your imagination by going back and adding some details to that print that you made. So we're going to try it out. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of things that you're interested in creating, and hopefully you get to have some fun just playing with paint even before you make that print. So I'm excited to share this with you, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So we will get started. The first thing you'll need to get is a baking sheet. You'll use that to pour your paint on. You can also get some different paints ready with the colors that you want to use. You'll also need at least one sheet of paper. If you have thicker paper that's designed for paint, that would work best, but if you just have printer paper, that will work too. One last thing you may want to grab before you start is some different painting tools. Here I have a scraper, a paintbrush, a sponge, and a spoon to kind of play with while I'm pouring and wiping my paint. Once you have all your materials ready, you can get started. I started just by pouring the paint all over the baking sheet and dripping it straight out of the jars. Then I played around with the spoon, messed around with the sponge and the scraper, and even painted a little bit around the edges when I felt like I had a pretty good amount in the middle. Once you've added all your paint, take your paper and lay it on top of the paint on the baking sheet. Lift it up and that will be your first part of your painting. Here is the print I got after pressing my paper down on top of my paint. Give this paper a little bit of time to dry and then you can move on to the next step. Once your painting is completely dry, take a closer look at it and see if you can find any pictures and stories inside of the colors. When you do, you can take either a pencil or a Sharpie and start adding details or outlines to really show those pictures that you see. When I first looked at my print, the thing that I noticed was that one of the colors kind of looked like the shape of a turtle. So I added an outline and then some other sea creatures to build a story around the colors in my design. Here's the story I created just by looking at the shapes and colors in my print. I wonder, when you looked at yours, what pictures and stories did you find? And you just created your own Max Ernst inspired painting. I hope that you guys were able to have a lot of fun with that and really enjoy the process and enjoy getting to kind of explore your ideas a little bit more. I know that Max Ernst has a lot of fun when he creates his art, so I really hope that that's something that you were able to feel in that process too. I am so happy that we got to share that together today, and I am really looking forward to more times that we will get to share art. So thank you so much for listening to this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time on Teacher Time with Kelsie. Goodbye.